New Zealand is the latest country to accuse China of cyber espionage campaign. Both the UK and the US have charged with orchestrating cyber attacks on their strategically important companies and government officials. The New Zealand government has raised concerns over Chinese involvement in a state-sponsored cyber attack on its parliament in 2021. A top New Zealand intelligence official told a parliamentary committee that 7 New Zealand citizens provided training to China's military in the last 18 months. The official called it a major national security risk. The New Zealand Government Communications Secretary Bureau, also known as the GSSB, claims a Chinese state-sponsored actor known as Advanced Persistent Threat 40, or APT-40, was behind the New Zealand 2021 Parliament cyber attack. Meanwhile, in a joint statement, the US and the UK governments have alleged a hacking group, APT-31, is behind the cyber attack in both countries. APT-31 is believed to be affiliated with China's Ministry of State Security. Both the UK and the US allege that APT-31 used phishing techniques to conduct the attack. Victims were sent emails containing hidden links, and when they opened them, information including the recipient's location, device and IP were transmitted to a server controlled by the hackers. Bad actors used this information to enable more targeted hacking and compromising home routers of the recipients and other electronic devices. The US Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco said over 10,000 phishing emails were sent as part of the hacking campaign to repress critics of the China regime, compromise government institutions and steal trade secrets. The US government has announced rewards of up to $10 million for information of Wuhan XRZ, should I say, APT-31 or any of the 7 Chinese MSS hackers. Meanwhile, China has denied the hacking allegations by the United Kingdom. A Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson has said the evidence Britain has provided is insufficient and unprofessional. Well, we're joined now by Greg Svensson. He's a partner at Brigg Macadam. Greg, many thanks for your time this morning. Quite a concerning development here, but of course China says the evidence is limited. Give us your assessment.
Well, I'm not sure I would ever trust anything that comes from any announcements or responses that come from the CCP. So obviously they cannot be trusted. So I think I would have to lean on the US and the UK, and in this case, New Zealand, and trust their information more than the Chinese. And I think you saw a really powerful response from the UK and the US. You've got the Interparliamentary Alliance on China here in the UK, as well as the China Select Committee in the US, led by Mike Gallagher. I think we're seeing some real pushback. This is just another chapter. This started with Huawei several years ago. You've had constant hacking incidents. You see what's going wrong, or what has gone wrong with TikTok and the pushback against TikTok in the US. So, I think it's time for China to be viewed really as an adversary here, and it's probably healthy to see this kind of response.
And Greg, of course, we're in a hugely significant year. We've got elections all over the globe, notably, of course, in the US and in the UK. So aspects of hacking in a year as pivotal as 2024 are extremely concerning, aren't they?
Yeah, they really are, Oliver. And, with the half the world voting and then really crucial elections in places like India and the US, I think it's really important to keep an eye on the potential hacking or the actual hacking coming from China and other adversaries like Russia, like Iran, North Korea. So, this has to be expected. It's also important to keep some perspective and be somewhat measured about the responses, because there is a risk that you end up going after free speech. You start being critical of anybody who says anything that you don't like online. And we've seen that. I mean, as critical as we are about the CCP, you saw election meddling by the United States in the last few years. You've seen real pressure against free speech. You've seen the White House work with Facebook and other social media companies. to remove content that they did not agree with. You saw that, with any reference to the virus, to COVID coming from the lab in Wuhan, any reference to risks about the vaccination or the ridiculous lockdowns or face mask mandates, any of that was being removed. So I think we have to be very cautious. Yes, watch out for hacking from our adversaries, but not at the expense of free speech at home.
Greg Svensson, partner at Brigg McAdam, many thanks for your insight there.
Thank you, Oliver. Good to be here.